And here we have the continent of Africa, a fascinating continent for all of us, especially for me. I am an African. I was born in South Africa, in the city here called Port Elizabeth. The name itself is now being reconsidered. It was part of the colonial experience with the British who colonized this area. It was named after Queen Elizabeth, and that's exactly where I grew up. This country itself, South Africa, has undergone an incredible amount of change, and we all know about great people like Nelson Mandela and others who created change so we do not have that system of racial discrimination and racial injustice in South Africa there. In my own life, I experienced that, classified as a non-white in negative terms, and so suffered under that system. But it has changed enormously. South Africa is significant globally now, as is many of the other countries in Africa, because of its mineral sources. Much of the world's gold and diamonds are found here in South Africa, and so that connects us to this place economically. Africa, of course, is a continent of 55 different countries. It had been colonized by various European countries, the English, the French, the Portuguese, the Spanish, and so an indication of that and the drawing of state lines can be seen by looking at linear lines, straight lines right here. This is the Kalahari Desert, very well known for its wildlife, the Okavango Delta there. And you can see some of these areas show historical features, such as a strip of land that connected, or separated rather, two colonial powers, the British and the Germans on the one side and the one on the other. So it's a really fascinating continent to study and understand. As we walk through it, we can see some of those changes. Many of the lines are still geometric lines. This is in the Sahara itself in North Africa, thinly populated, and you can see some of those lines indicating it. We spoke earlier, and I'm going to walk through it here, about the Nile River, and let's follow that Nile. Let's walk along the White Nile, meeting the Blue Nile right here at Khartoum, a significant place in history, and flowing towards the north, and there it goes, and entering the ocean at the delta of the Nile, and there's Cairo as the city right there. And so it shows us clearly that rivers on maps don't flow necessarily up or down. They flow from highland regions, in this case from the central part of Africa towards the coast. One last area I just do want to point out. Again, we're going through the northern part of Africa right here. Morocco. I love eating the Moroccan tangerines, as I said. And as we go further south, we can see some of the rest of in some cases, not all country boundaries have been settled. This is the region called Western Sahara, which was occupied actually by Morocco, and it's still being contested. So it means that the map of the world itself is not settled yet, and there are still many, many issues that are being discovered and as I said, fraught over, sometimes dealt easily by discussion and sometimes by physical force. And then the last feature I just want to show you on Africa here is we often speak about the prime meridian. And the prime meridian, it was established incidentally in London at the end of the 1800s to standardize time around the world. The time meridian is in London, but it stretches through a vast area of Africa and stretches through this country here called Ghana. And so when we celebrate the prime meridian, we should also remember that this country is also part of that process of deciding and settling where international time is.